Hi, and welcome to Narc Abuse No More, where we're here to help you admit what you feel in order to heal from the effects of narcissistic abuse, because your feelings do matter. Here is your host, Dr. and Evangelist K.L. Rich.
Hi, and welcome to today's podcast of Narc Abuse No More, where we're here to help you admit what you feel in order to heal from the effects of narcissistic abuse, because your feelings do matter. Yes, they do. But before we go on with today's podcast, I'd like to invite you to visit us on our website at www.narcabusenomore.org. Again, that website address is www.narcabusenomore.org. And on our website, you'll find valuable information regarding narcissism, relationships, and if you have missed any of these podcasts, all you have to do is go directly to our website and listen to us from there. Now, just to let you know, we're on every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10. Well, let me take that back. We're on Mondays now. Mondays at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. Central, and that is on SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Spreaker, Google Play, iTunes, Castbox, and Deezer. You can also catch us on YouTube, Brighton, and Rumble. So you have a variety of different platforms that you can listen to us from, but if all else fails, all you have to do is go directly to our website at www.narcabusenomore.org. All right, let's dive in. What are we talking about today? We're talking about the terms that you need to know to protect yourself against narcissism. So there are some glossary terms that we're going to talk about today so that you can recognize when you're dealing with a narcissist. Many people, they know that something is wrong. They know something may be going on, but they can't really put a finger on it. So the one thing about when you're dealing with narcissists is when you become familiar with how they operate and you are able to identify by putting a name to it, then you can better have a defense mechanism or be on the offense instead of being on the defense when it comes to a narcissist. You want to basically be on the offense rather than the defense because you don't want them putting you into a corner. So you want to be able to recognize when they're doing certain things, trying to push your buttons so that you will not fall into their traps. Because the thing is, narcissists are very manipulative individuals, very masterminded. So what I mean by that, they're master manipulators, and therefore they will make you doubt your own reality. So we're going to get into that in just a minute, but I want to give you a definition of narcissistic personality disorder. Now, because some people have narcissistic traits and some have full-blown narcissistic personality disorder. So narcissistic personality disorder, it is a mental health condition. So I want you to realize it. It is a mental health condition where a person thinks more of themselves than they should. So they have this grandiose view of themselves. They think that they are important. They need attention all the time. They want people to admire them all the time. And with this type of disorder, they have the inability to actually empathize with other people. And let me just say this. Don't get it confused that just because a narcissist might be doing nice things that they actually empathize with that individual. Narcissists often mimic good traits. Okay, they mimic good traits. Not that they are, but they mimic. Whatever will get them the attention that they want, they mimic those good traits. But behind the mask, and when you're dealing with narcissists, they have this mask where it's about confidence. They think that, as long as I portray it, as long as I let others believe it. But in actuality, they do not have a sure sense of their value or their self-worth. So therefore, even with the slightest criticism, they cannot handle it. They will attack you. Even with constructive criticism, they will attack you because they cannot stand for their ego to be diminished. And when you're dealing with narcissists, this type of personality disorder, and I want to mention that it's in the 4 cluster Bs of disorders when it comes to narcissists. So If you know about cluster B disorders, they're part of the four. So that when you have a cluster B personality disorder, you're dealing with antisocial personality disorder, borderline personality disorder, histrionic personality disorder, and of course, the narcissistic personality disorder. So those are the four common ones that have normally been put into the DSMs when you're talking about personality disorders. One thing when you're dealing with narcissists, they cause problems everywhere in their lives. And let me just say this, because if you're dealing with a narcissist, they will always make it seem like you're the problem when it's actually them that's the problem. They have problems with everybody in life. Okay, so whether it's on the job, whether it's at work, whether it's at school, whether it's dealing with finances, marriages, whatever the case may be, they cause problems in every area. If you have this one particular person that you're always having problems with, okay, then you might want to see, maybe this person does have some narcissism in them. And so therefore we're going to talk about those terms that you need to know. It is very difficult to have a healthy relationship when you're dealing with a narcissist. It's going to always be a problem when you're dealing with a narcissist. And the thing is, they don't look at themselves as being the problem. They look at everybody else around them. They can have problems with everybody, but the common denominator is them. Okay, but they don't see that. They look at everybody else as causing them problems. So the narcissistic personality disorder, they're often unhappy. And they make other people feel as if you're responsible for their happiness. And let me just say this, you're not. I'm just going to be blank. You're not. You're not responsible for somebody else's happiness when they choose to not want to be happy. It's a term that misery loves company. And that's how it is when you're dealing with someone with narcissistic personality disorder. They are oftentimes miserable, and therefore they love to have that misery with them. So they're generally unhappy. They're disappointed when they're not the center of attention. For example, you can be busy doing something and the narcissist will call you and expect you to drop everything just because they gave you a call. But when you flip the script, they will not drop everything for you, but they'll have the nerve to have an attitude just because you don't do it for them. Okay, that's narcissism. All right. So they expect special favors. They expect admiration when they feel that they deserve something. And if they don't get it, then they turn into an incredible Hulk. They're jealous of other people oftentimes, envious of others, envious of the relationship that others will have. And therefore they are living unfulfilled lives. They're not able to be enjoyable or enjoy people around them. And on top of that, if you are happy, then they want to put a damper on your happiness. And these type of people really need to talk to a therapist, a psychotherapist, but oftentimes they don't go to therapy because they feel like they don't need the therapy. And if you were to go to therapy with a narcissist, make sure that you go to someone who is familiar with those cluster B personality disorders so that they will not be fooled by the therapist, because some therapists have been fooled by narcissists thinking that this person was the victim when in actuality they were the actual narcissist. And let me just say this, it often begins in the teen and early adult years. So you might see some children display traits of narcissism. Let me just say this, parents, if you have a child that always feels like they have to have their way, you need to nip that in the butt right away. Nip it in the butt right away. Okay, because one thing when you're dealing with narcissists, you don't want to groom them into being adult narcissists. As children, if they throw a temper tantrum because they can't get their way, if they always have this need for attention. Now, what I mean by that is, of course, parents are to give due attention to their children, but I'm talking about on the extreme. If they get mad because, I didn't get chosen for this and I didn't get chosen for that, because one thing about narcissists is that they feel like they're entitled. So if there was something that was fair and your child happened to not be chosen, but it was fair, then you have to teach them, well, you know what, you can't always get your way. Maybe we try harder next time, or whatever the case may be. You want to make sure that you're not grooming a narcissist. because it starts in their early years and then it goes into their later years. All right, we're going to let me see here. Yes, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about the narcissist and the things that you need to know when it comes to understanding the terms. Because again, when you understand some of the terms, then you will understand what you're dealing with when they come and gaslight you or triangulate you, or when you want to know, okay, this is what they're doing, that's what they're doing. So then you'll be playing offense instead of having to be backed into a corner playing defense. All right, we're going to be right back in just a moment.
Somewhere out there, beneath the pale moonlight, someone's thinking of me and loving me tonight.
Somewhere out there, someone saying a prayer that we'll find one another in that big somewhere out there. And even though I know how very far apart we are, it helps to think we might be wishing on the same bright star.
And when the night wind starts to sing a lonesome lullaby, it helps to think we're sleeping underneath the same big sky. Somewhere out there, if love can see us through, then we'll be together somewhere out there, out where dreams come true.
I'm looking for my family.
And even though I know how very far apart we are, it helps to think we might be wishing on the same bright star.
And when the night wind starts to sing a lonesome lullaby, it helps to think we're sleeping underneath the same big sky. Somewhere out there, if love can see us through, then we'll be together somewhere out there, out where dreams come true.
And that is Somewhere Out There by Linda Ronstadt and James Ingram. All right, so we are continuing our discussion today, or our talk today, about narcissism, understanding the terms when you're dealing with narcissism. And sometimes you have to be reminded of what you're dealing with, because it's easy to forget. It's easy to fall backward and forget, oh, well, I'm dealing with this narcissist, and they will come out of a bag on you on any given day. So you might think things are going fine, and then all of a sudden, bam, so you want to know what you're dealing with. One thing we want to deal with, and I want to talk to you about cognitive dissonance, and we're going to be discussing this in the upcoming podcast. But when you're dealing with cognitive dissonance, it's basically, that this person may be abusive, or they might be manipulative, or doing all these things. But then when they do something nice or they do something good, then you're kind of thrown back. So you're wondering, well, maybe they're not a narcissist, and maybe they are. Maybe they're not so bad, and maybe they are. And so you're in between two opinions. So that's when you have this cognitive dissonance. You might fall for the manipulative tactic, and you're thinking, oh, well, you know what, maybe they're changing. But then when you actually understand a narcissist, you really would know that they don't change unless, and I always put a disclaimer, a narcissist normally don't change unless they allow God to change them. Sometimes when they go to therapy, if they really seek the change, but narcissists very rarely change. Okay, so don't be confused and don't be manipulated by the times when they're doing nice things. At the end of the day, they're still a narcissist, with the disclaimer that I just gave you just now. So one thing, when you're dealing with narcissists, one of the things that you're often going to find when you're dealing with a narcissist is denial. Now, I always tell people, never go to a narcissist and tell them that they're a narcissist. And some people don't listen, and they, I told him I was mad, and I told him he was a narcissist, ma'am. No, sir, no. Don't tell them that, because by the time you get done, they will make you think and make you look like you're the narcissist. This is part of that manipulative mind game that they have, okay, that they often play. So do not think that when you're dealing with a narcissist, if you're dealing with a true narcissist, that they're going to willfully accept you telling them that they're a narcissist. No, they're going to make it seem, because they're good at the mind games. And this is what the victims of narcissistic abuse don't understand. Narcissists are very good at the mind games. Where you're playing checkers, they're playing strategic chess. All right. So, and they win the championships. Okay. So when you think you're in the ring with a narcissist and you think, oh, I'm going to win by telling them that they're a narcissist and I'm going to give them this big punch. Come on now. You're going to be the one back against the ropes going bing, 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 bing. All right. So do not ever tell them they're a narcissist, because it's not going to work. You might think, oh, it feels good to you, and by the time they get done throwing it back at you, regurgitating it at you 100 different ways, you will find yourself wondering yourself, wow, maybe I'm the narcissist, and that's the name of the game. They want you to think that. So they're in denial. Narcissists, they'll pretend that events did not happen. They will pretend that certain circumstances didn't exist. And this is the thing when you're dealing with narcissists, because this is also part of that gaslighting. And I want to let you know, narcissists will reinvent the story. Narcissists will rewrite the dialogue. Okay, they will come up with stuff, and you be like, that was not how it happened, and they will swear that that's how it happened. They rewrite the script. So when you say, well, no, that was not what happened, this is what happened, they will swear up and down that no, this is the events that took place, and you know good and well that that's not how it happened, because they're in denial. Remember that a narcissist will never allow you to make them look or feel bad. That's not in their nature. They will not accept responsibility. So this goes into my next one. I'm talking about gaslighting. They want you to doubt your reality. They will blame you. They will blame the abuse. Now, I'm seeing this in a lot of the churches in today's time. A lot of the churches, instead of protecting the victims, instead of looking to see what actually did happen, instead of holding the pastors and those accountable for things that has happened, they blame the victim, immediately blame the victim because the person that they like is well known, popular, speaks well, good orator. These things are taking place even in the church. In politics, you will see this. Well, we're not going to say anything, and it could be the truth, but no, we're going to make the victim look like they're the one that's the problem, instead of actually seeing what is going on. Instead of actually investigating to see what is taking place. So you will have the narcissist. They will deny, they will project, okay, they will put their bad behavior on you. Whatever they're doing, they're going to blame you for doing it. It's a book called Rules of I think it's the author's name Saul Alinsky, and it's called Rules of something. I can't think of the full name. But basically, you blame the other person for the very thing that you're doing in order to take the heat off of you and make it so when people are narrowing in on the other person, then you can get by with doing the very thing that you're accusing them of doing. Okay, so you're the one that's doing it, but you're gonna accuse the other person. So people's eyes will not be on you. I think it's Rules of Engagement, something. I forgot the name of the book. So you often hear that, narcissists will tell you, oh, you're too sensitive, or you're crazy, or that's not what happened, or you know what, you made me do it. They will blame you for their abuse. I've often mentioned this movie. If you have never watched it, I don't know if it's on YouTube or some other Amazon or whatever Prime, but watch the movie Gaslight. It's called Gaslight. 1944 Hollywood film. Gaslight is one word. Gaslight. And this husband was doing all these little horrible things to his wife to try to drive her insane so he can take control of her wealth. And he was making her doubt her reality. And that's where the term gaslight comes from. A narcissist, again, will never take responsibility. So if you think you're going to be able to have a healthy dialogue with a narcissist and them accept that they're doing some things to you, they don't see, the thing is, narcissists look at everybody else, but they never look at themselves. You will have, let me talk about those religious narcissists, okay? You will have them listen to a sermon, and the sermon's about everybody else, but they'll never key in, you know what, this is talking about me. I need to do some things myself. Now, they'll take the good stuff out. Oh, yeah, this is good. But then when it's something that actually hits them, they're not going to receive it, not going to be receptive, and therefore they're going to say, oh, that's for everybody else, but not for me. That's how narcissists operate. Another thing when you're dealing with narcissists is you're dealing with devaluation. So you will have a person that will belittle you. They will judge you. They will they will not basically support you. Anything that you do, or they feel like, oh, you need to do better. Or see, the thing is, when you're dealing with narcissists, they always try to make you feel like you got to reach their bar. You got to reach up to where they are or what they feel you should be. And so therefore they will make you feel as if, oh, well, I'm not going to give you a compliment because I don't want it to go to your head. In actuality, they feel like they have the power to value you or devalue you. They have the power. They feel as if their opinion is the most weightiest opinion there is. So whether they support you or whether they don't, they feel like they're in control. Narcissists want to feel like they're in control of your success. Let me just say this. No one's in control of your success but you and God. Okay? If God blesses you with whatever he blesses you with, that doesn't mean that if the narcissist choose not to support you or to support you, it matters nothing when it comes to the relationship that you have with God. All right. But narcissists will make you feel like your success and failure depends all on them. Absolutely not. This is why you need to take back your power. When you give the narcissist that much control, then they will juggle you. They will pull the strings. They will manipulate you like a puppet each and every time, because they're going to have you dancing to their music, because they're trying to make you feel as if your livelihood, your success, your well-being, your self-esteem, everything about you depends upon them. And wrong answer. Another thing a narcissist will try to do is divide and conquer. You will find this in families where you have this narcissist, and therefore they'll isolate certain members, such as the scapegoat, the black sheep of the family, and they're the ones that actually see everything for what it is, and they oftentimes will speak their mind. But the narcissist tries to divide and conquer, so they will manipulate and dominate certain individuals to isolate them to themselves or isolate you away from other people. They don't want you coming together as a family. They don't want you coming together as in a work environment. They don't want you coming together even within the church. So therefore, the narcissist wants to maintain control. It's all about control, manipulation, and control. Again, you will see this on the workplace, where they will try to isolate others from you. So make everybody else against you. They don't want there to be a meeting of the minds. It's about divide and conquer. Another thing, when you're dealing with an enabler, you're dealing with someone who, again, has this grandiose view of themselves, have a prideful attitude, and therefore enablers are always causing problems by allowing the narcissist sometimes to get by with what they do. And this is also a part of the flying monkeys, okay, where they do the witch's bidding, or they do the narcissist bidding. You will have those that will come up against the narcissist, come up against the victim when it's actually the narcissist pulling the strings. So when you have these enablers that enable the behavior of the narcissist, and guess what? They are not for you. If you think that, oh, well, I'm going to go talk to them and they're going to understand my plight, they don't care about your plight. They're all about themselves. And this is so important for people to understand. When you're dealing with a narcissist, you're dealing with someone that is very manipulative. They will always have others to think that they are in the right, because they're going to give their twisted version of the story, which is distorted in every side of it. And therefore, people would think that you're the problem when it's actually the narcissist. But one of the things that the narcissist normally has is that charm. Okay, the narcissist will charm the pants off of anything. Therefore, people believe them. People gravitate to them. People like them. They have that X factor. And while they're thinking that the narcissist is the best thing since chocolate cake, you're the one that's isolated, sitting in the corner wondering, wow, what happened here? It's because of the charm of the narcissist. And let me just say this: is there something you can do about their charm when people do not want to believe that a narcissist is one? No, you can't. The only thing you can do is know your truth. And that's what's important, to know your truth. Because there's nothing you can't make people believe you. But you can know your truth. And those who actually know you, and those who actually love you, and those who actually support you, and those who actually understand what is going on, they will stand by you. All right, we're going to take another quick break, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Down and oh my soul so weary, When troubles come and my heart burdened be, then I am still and wait here in the silence until you come and sit a while with me. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. Raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up to more than I can be.
And there's Josh Groban. You raise me up. And one of the things that is so important is when we are understanding about narcissism, it's a way to be empowered, to be raised up when you know what you're dealing with. And this is why we talk about these things on this particular podcast, so that you can raise yourself up, so you can be uplifted and know that you are not going through this alone. So many people are dealing with narcissism, and so many people are dealing with the abuse of it and thinking that, oh, I'm by myself. No, you're not alone. Okay. There's a lot of these narcissistic personality disorder people around here. However, you can educate yourself and therefore not become a victim of it. One thing that when you're dealing with narcissism, especially when you're dealing with narcissistic parents, you have what we call the golden child. And so this child is the favorite child. This is the child that gets the special privileges, attention, exemption from discipline. Even they are the ones that's of high regard. And the sad thing is, when it comes to the golden child, the other child or children can't put a torch, can't light a match to that golden child in that narcissistic parent's mind. But guess what? That's not your fault. That's not your fault. It can actually cause a division between the children when parents do that. The narcissistic child is always, let me take that back. The narcissistic parent places the golden child above the other child or children in their mind. Now, they may say, oh, well, I do you all the same. I treat you all the same, when in actuality, they don't. The golden child in their mind can do no wrong. And therefore, unless they get into a disagreement, and that's only temporarily, but you can always believe that they're going to always put that golden child above the other child or above the other children. In their mind, they do no wrong. Another thing, when you're dealing with narcissism and understanding that, you want to understand the gray rock. And this is a avoidance and a conflict strategy that can be effective in when you're dealing with narcissists. So it basically means when you go gray rock, or when you gray rock somebody, it means that you don't respond. You don't show your feelings, you don't show your anger, you don't show anything, you do not allow them to antagonize you. So you make yourself of little interest. See, the narcissist wants to get a rise out of you, and when they don't get a rise out of you, sometimes they even go as far as to threaten you. If you say, oh, well, you know what, I'm not going to go into this argument with you, you're on the phone with them, I'm not going to go into this argument with you, and then if you hang up this phone, then I'll hang up the phone. Hang up the phone. When they get to the threatening part, hang it up. It don't matter who it is. Hang it up. Say goodbye. Hang up. Because you do not have to allow yourself to be threatened by someone who is acting like a child. And this is one of the things that is important to understand when you're dealing with narcissists. They act like children. They throw a temper tantrum. If they can't get their way, then they will throw the ultimate temper tantrum with rage, fists of anger, threats, all kinds of things. They will try to diminish you, talk down to you. And one thing about a narcissist, let me remember to read you your Miranda rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of the narcissist. Therefore, you don't have to tell them anything. Not at all. You don't owe to tell them anything. Now, the thing is, if you're married to one, then it's a little bit harder when you're dealing with that one. But when you're dealing with someone that's on the outside, whether it's a parent, whether it's a boss, whether whoever it is if they're on a need to know basis, and most of the time they don't need to know. You do not have to tell them anything. One thing about it is unless you're married to one of these narcissists, you can have peace in your home. You don't have to allow the drama to come in. This is one thing that if you believe in New Year's resolutions, okay, allow peace to be in your home. You don't have to bring the drama in. You don't owe anybody anything but to be respectful, mindful, and whatever God has for you to do for that person. But other than that, you don't owe to tell them your business. Because we often talk about narcissists. Well, listen to what you say, put it in the vault, and throw it back at you later, regurgitate it in 100 different ways. Be mindful of what you say. Another thing, when you're dealing with narcissists, you're dealing with someone that sometimes what we call hoovering. So they have this self-centered personality, and which is sometimes cruel, and so therefore they want to make others miserable around them, and they'll drive many people away. So sometimes people pull away and go no contact with the narcissist, and therefore the narcissist tries to suck them in like a Hoover vacuum. Be careful. They will promise you things. They will give you gifts. They will dangle carrots of money over you. Be careful when you deal with a narcissist, because a narcissist wants to get you up under their control, and therefore they're like a Hoover vacuum. And if you accept something from a narcissist, they try to suck you in. Okay, make you feel like you owe them. You're obligated to them. I would rather not have anybody give me anything than to make me feel like I'm indebted. Okay, and that's what the narcissists want you to do. They want you to feel as if you are indebted to them. And you have to make it where whether you do or whether you don't, I'm still going to survive. It ain't my livelihood, my business, my ministry, whatever it is, what God has given to me is not dependent on you. And see, when you take that power away from the narcissist, then therefore they got to go somewhere else and get their narcissistic supply. They're like drug fiends. They got to find somebody that's going to give them that supply to boost their ego. It's not even when the narcissist does things for people, it's not about them. It's about them feeling their own ego to make themselves feel and look good because they thrive off of the attention. They thrive off of the need for somebody to make them feel as if they need them. And when you take back your power, then the narcissist has to go and find somebody else. Another thing, when you're dealing with narcissistic personality disorder, you're often dealing with someone who gets narcissistic injury. Okay, so they suffer emotional injury, and it's not something that you've done to them, but it's something that they will feel as if you're not giving them enough attention, if they feel rejected, if they feel abused or misused or feel a sense of loss, then they get what's called narcissistic injury, which often turns them into going into a narcissistic rage, okay, like the Incredible Hulk. And again, this injury has often taken place in their early years, okay? Their sense of self-esteem, their sense of emotional empathy, and therefore they have actually a sense of worthlessness, feeling that way, but therefore they will cause harm to other people when they feel as if they've been narcissistically injured themselves. Again, this goes into that narcissistic rage. And when you're dealing with someone that that's dealing with narcissistic rage, they react as a 2-year-old. Okay, so any the slightest brush off, or if they feel humiliated, or if they feel they don't get what they want, or whatever the case may be, they will blame others for their reaction. So they will do something and then blame you and say it's your fault that they reacted in the way that they did. Let me just say this: everybody has to take responsibility for their own actions. No one is responsible for what you do or don't do. You are responsible for what you do or don't do. A narcissist will never take responsibility for their own actions, but you have to see that you are not to blame for what they do. If they raise their voice to you, it's them doing that. If they hit you, it's them doing that. They have to take responsibility for their own actions, but narcissists tend to not do that. But it's not your fault. You cannot allow yourself to become damaged because of what they're doing. And this is why we talk about this, so that you can recognize their behavior. Another thing, and we're going to end on this, is a smear campaign. The narcissist will discredit you with family, friends, loved ones, and because other people do not see the real ugly when it comes to these type of individuals. They abuse people, but then they make others feel like they're the ones that's being abused. And so therefore they'll go out and ruin your name or say things about you because they're jealous, they're resentful, they will discredit you. That includes gossip and outright lies to other people. They will run a smear campaign against you in order to make themselves feel good. So they want people to rally around them when actually they're the ones that's doing the abuse. The thing is that you may not be able to control what a narcissist does, but you can control your response. So when you're dealing with these type of people, don't react, respond. Know that this is what they do. Don't get into the shouting battles with them. Because it's easy to get drawn in. Trust me, it's easy to get drawn in. But then you can say, you know what? Not today. I'm fixing to go. I'm fixing to hang up. I'm fixing to get out of your presence, whatever the case may be. That is up to you. All right. We are up out of here. I pray that today's podcast has been a blessing to you and that you will know your feelings do matter. This is Dr. K.O. Rich with Narc Abuse No More. Until next time.
We want to thank you for taking the time to join us today on Narc Abuse No More, where we're here to help you admit what you feel in order to heal from the effects of narcissistic abuse, because your feelings do matter. Until next time.